They say, we respectfully submit this pre-motion letter requesting that Your Honor terminate the gag order restricting Trump's extrajudicial statements. Why? Well, for the reasons set forth, the trial's over. It's concluded. So they say Trump's letter asserts that the stated bases for the court's orders no longer exist because they say the trial's over.
I am the political prisoner of a failing nation, but I will soon be free on November 5th, the most important day in the history of our country, and we will together make America great again.
Donald Trump battles to lift the gag order after the verdict in New York. Trial's over. Jurors are gone. Witnesses are no longer going to be testifying. So why can't Trump have his free speech back? Good question, but the prosecutors object. They say no. They want Trump gagged forever and ever and ever. Trump's defense submitted this in New York. You can see it comes from Blanche Law, sent over to the Honorable Juan Merchan, acting justice from the Supreme Court. They say, hey, trial's over. Can we please have our free speech back? They say, a judge, and remember, these are very short filings because the judge said you're only limited to one page. You only get one permission slip for one page, and that's it. So here is what they say. Dear Judge Merchan, they say, we respectfully submit this pre-motion letter requesting that Your Honor terminate the gag order restricting Trump's extrajudicial statements. Why? Well, for the reasons set forth, the trial's over. It's concluded. The stated basis for the gag order no longer exists. Now they say, look, by the way, as we submit this, the defense does not concede that there was ever a valid basis for the gag order, so we're not saying the right thing at the beginning, and we reserve the right to challenge the irreparable First Amendment harms that this judge caused in his order. So irreparable. Trump was damaged. We don't get that time back. He doesn't get the opportunity to speak those things when they mattered. So it has been permanent harm. Now, unless the court grants the requested relief based on this letter and any response from the government, which we'll read next, we further request an opportunity to submit briefing on this issue. We'd like more than this single page. Now, the proffered justifications for the gag order, with which we disagree, related to the trial. Trial's over. The government's February 22nd, 2024 motion stated that the prosecution was seeking to protect the integrity of this criminal proceeding and avoid prejudice to the jury. Now, in March 2024, the court reasoned, they said, well, the eve of trial is upon us. And on March 29th, the government filed a letter seeking to expand the gag order. They had concerns about the trial participants and the witnesses and the prospective jurors. In April, the court referred to concerns about a juror, a witness, and personnel who are all in the trial in some other capacity. And they're referencing the judge's own words. So you wrote prospective jurors, you wrote trial witnesses and trial participants. You said the trial is upon us. We're all concerned about the jury's functioning. Okay, all of those things. That's the basis for it. Now that trial is concluded. Now those concerns articulated by the government and the court, everything you were complaining about, they do not justify continued restrictions on the First Amendment. Trump's First Amendment rights are being limited. He remains the leading candidate in the 2024 presidential election and to the American people. The constitutional mandate for unrestrained campaign advocacy by President Trump is even stronger now. Why? Well, Biden also held a May 28th campaign event outside the courthouse during the defense's closing arguments. They sent out Robert De Niro. That guy. President Biden's public comments regarding the jury's verdict on May 31. So Biden came out, made a public speech about this. And there's also continued public attacks by Michael Cohen, who's back on TikTok, and Stormy Daniels is running her big mouth again. We also have a presidential debate that's scheduled for June 27th. And so we'd like to be able to speak about that. You know, in the debate, we're going to be talking about, well, presidential debates are core to our electoral process. And so Trump needs to be able to respond to this. It's not the function of the government to decide and allow him to discuss or debate certain ideas or not. This is all happening in the middle of a campaign. And so if you enforce silence in the name of preserving the dignity of the bench, you're going to make a bunch of people resent the bench, have suspicion and contempt for the bench more than we already do. So allow him to speak. Respectfully submitted, Todd, Blanche, Emile Beauvais, to the court, saying, can we please speak, or are we gagged permanently for the rest of the campaign? So Colangelo, Biden's prosecutor, who was working for Joe before he left that office and then came back over to support the Trump prosecutions. Remember, he worked for Obama, then worked for Tish James, prosecuted Trump, then went to Biden, probably was involved in prosecuting Trump there, then went back to Bragg, revived that case, prosecuting Trump there. So now he submits this. He says, oh gosh, Judge, no. He says the people people respectfully submit this response to Trump's motion to terminate the gag order. They say the people oppose any immediate termination of the orders. We object, and we agree with Trump's proposal for further briefing. So we'll write some more. We request that the court adopt the same briefing schedule that the court set for all other post-trial motions and make his motion due on June 13th and the responses due by June 27th. So they'll just keep the gag in place and postpone it indefinitely, at least until these dates. And then the judge will postpone it and let me think about it. And then he'll postpone it and so the gag will be in place longer. So they say Trump's letter asserts that the stated bases for the court's orders no longer exist because they say the trial's over. But the court's order, however, were based not only on the need to avoid threats to the fairness of trial itself, but also, this is where it goes, on the court's broader obligation to prevent actual harm to the integrity of the proceedings. It means nothing to protect the orderly administration of this court and to avoid the risks to the administration of justice. All platitudes. Integrity of the proceedings. What? The administration of this court. What? The administration of justice. What? It's all meaningless. At here, it says anything could interfere with the fair administration of justice or even intimidate this court. Wow. As the people will explain more fully in our written opposition to Trump's forthcoming motion, these interests have not abated, and the court has an obligation to protect the integrity of these proceedings and the fair administration of justice, at least through sentencing and the resolution of any post-trial motions. Oh, they're going to leave it. The people's opposition will address whether, if at all, it would be appropriate to tailor aspects of the court's orders given the conclusion of the trial. So Trump will still have a muzzle on him, but it won't be that big because we'll allow him to speak about the campaign. We'll allow him to talk a little bit about Michael Cohen or whatever, but only these things and not those things. And he can't say this and he can't say that. These people are sick. This is what they do. They have Trump as a political prisoner, and the American people are sick of it. Here's Trump responding.
I am the political prisoner of a failing nation, but I will soon be free on November 5th, the most important day in the history of our country, and we will together make America great again. Thank you.
That's right. November 5th is going to be the only date that matters. And so while these Democrats keep trying to gag the president, Trump will keep campaigning and we'll keep covering it to make sure that people know what they're trying to do here. So thanks for subscribing, my friends. And if you like this video, make sure you check this one out. It's coming up. It's going to be great. We'll see you over there on that one.